Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I am from Gina K Designs. Thanks so much for stopping by to spend some time with me here today. I have created this YouTube channel to share paper crafting tutorials and inspiration with all of you. So if you like the content that you see here today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd love to have you along my card making journey. In today's video, we're going to be creating some sentiment strips for mass production of Christmas cards. I'm just going to show a quick tip on how to use the Gina K Designs Seasonal Greetings stamp set. The Seasonal Greetings stamp set is an incentive set for this month with the Gina K Designs shop. When you spend $75 or more in the Gina K Designs website, and you'll get this set for free. Okay, let's jump in with the project today. So we have a Misti and some Gina K Designs watermark embossing ink. We have the stamp set, some painter's tape, embossing powder, anti-static powder bag, and a heat tool, and a paper trimmer. So I'm going to leave the stamps on the backer sheet, and I'll put it inside my Misti, and I'll flip my Misti upside down so it stays in the position that I want it. And I'm going to grab some painter's tape, and I'll just tape the stamp set down to the door of my Misti just to make sure it just stays in place, because I'm going to use this multiple times. In this video, I'm just going to show you how to fill up one sheet of cardstock, as I need about 100 cards. So this is going to make it a lot easier for me to mass produce 100 sentiment strips on the front of my cards. I think this is my favorite sort of style. I like the little sentiment strips on my cards because it doesn't distract from all the work that we put into the design. So it gives us a little personal message, or Merry Christmas, or whatever it is that you want to say. So I'm going to use the anti-static powder bag, and I'll just rub it all over my cardstock. The cardstock I'm using for this is a 110-pound black cardstock, and I'm just getting my heat tool ready. I'll turn it on so that it warms up, and it's nice and hot when I bring it to my paper to avoid any sort of warping. I'm taking my Gina K Designs watermark ink, and I'm going to ink up my stamps, making sure that my cardstock is in the corner of my Misti nice and tight, so that if I have to re-stamp, then I'm able to do so without distorting any of the words. So I'll just gently rub my fingers over each of the strips to make sure I have a nice even impression. You don't want to press too hard because you don't want to distort any of the letters. And I'm happy with that. And I'll go ahead and I'll flip my paper around. The size of paper I'm using is a 8.5 by 11 sheet cut in half. So this is 5.5 by 4.25. So I'll ink it up a second time. And I'll do the same thing. I'll press my fingertips gently over top of each of the sentiments. And once I'm happy with everything that's stamped out, I've got some embossing powder in a large container at the top of my screen there with a little spoon. This is the embossing powder that I use most often. So I've got it in this little 3-tier drawer on my desktop. And if you'll notice, I had to pull up my pajama sleeves. I didn't realize I was halfway through this video and I was still in my pajamas, and I thought, that's most of us. That's real life crafting. So back to the card, or back to the sentiment strips. So I'm just using my embossing powder, and I'm covering my stamped images with that, making sure I tap off any excess. And there were a few spots that the embossing powder is sticking that I don't want. So I'm going to grab a dry paintbrush, and I'll just kind of wipe away any of the spare embossing bits. And then once I'm happy with that, I will take my heat gun, which is nice and hot by now, and I will bring it to my paper, and I will heat emboss all of these sentiment strips. And it doesn't take long at all, as I said, because my heat gun is nice and hot. And you want to make sure that you don't hold your heat gun over top of the letters too long to burn the embossing powder. So once you see it change and it's no longer powder and it's now smooth and melted, then just move the heat gun on to the next part of the sentiment. And then I'll just tilt it in the light to make sure that I didn't miss any of the spots, and if I feel like something needs a little bit more heat, I'll go back to it. And then that's going to be it. All of these strips are done. Now we have 10 sentiments ready to put on 10 cards. And I'll show you a little trick on how I cut these out. I've got a Tonic Studios trimmer. It's a Holtz trimmer. This is my favorite trimmer. It has a little guide that I slip my cardstock under, and I line up the bottom of my words with the bottom of the guide. And I'll just keep doing that. I'll just keep sliding the cardstock down. I'll come back and finish the top of them once I've got them all cut off of this sheet. And we'll keep going, and we'll line up each of the strips with the top of the words to the top of the guide. And then once that's done, I'll take each strip and I'll slip it back into the trimmer in whatever part that needs to be cut out. Some are the top and some are the bottom because of the way we stamped them in the Misti. So I'll flip them around and I'll line the words up once again with the trimmer and slice. And we have a perfect little sentiment strip to go on a card. So for just a few minutes, we have 10 sentiment strips all ready to go. Now you can trim these up a little bit more if you desire to cut off the edges to whatever fits into your card design. I mean, you could even take the sentiment strips and cut them up to stack the words on top of each other. Whatever works best for whatever card design that you've got planned out. So we'll just run through this part really quickly, get all these sentiment strips cut out. I love the font of these sentiment strips. I think this is going to be my most used stamp of this holiday release. Okay, now you'll see we've got a bunch of strips left over from our cardstock. Now don't throw these away. There are multiple things you can do with these. You can ink them up and you can emboss them and create little divisions in your design, or they make a nice transition in the Gina K Designs foils. So it just kind of breaks up your design. So I keep those and I'll save them for my Christmas cards. And so here we are. We've got these beautiful strips. And I've got 2 of each design. And as I said, I'm going to go back and make a ton more. I think this would even be a nice Christmas card. You could just stack up all these sentiments and lay them across your card, just like that. And maybe put a Christmas tree popped up right in the center over top of them. Really cute. That's it for today's video. Thanks so much for stopping by to spend a little bit of your time with me here today. I appreciate all of the support. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please do so. I'd love to have you along my card making journey. Also, don't forget to click the little notification bell so you can be notified of future uploads. For example, the Winter Wishes card kit that will be coming up very shortly. I'm working on finishing that video now, and the next upload I have will be the Warm Winter Wishes card kit. All of the links that I've used for the products today will be listed in the description of my YouTube video down below. None of my links are affiliate. I don't benefit monetarily from any of the content that I've shared with you here today. I've also not been asked to create or showcase any product. This is just me sharing information with you with the products that I know and love and have purchased with all of my own money. So again, thanks for stopping by and have a wonderful day.